Hello everyone, I'm Cherokee Charles and this is Chikimo. This is where you come to become more financially educated. Now today we're going to talk about four things. Number one, we're going to talk about who is responsible for inflation. Is it a person? Is it the President of the United States? Is it an organization? Is it a company? Is it you and I? Who is responsible for inflation? That's what we're going to talk about first. Number two, we're going to talk about what should you do? And third, what you should do when you get paid. And lastly, we're going to talk about what you should think about when you want to buy an asset. So those are four things that I want you to keep in mind that we're going to cover in today's session. So let's get right into it. Number one, now this is information for all of you sort of beginner investors. You don't have any assets at this point. You're living in a middle income lifestyle or a poor lifestyle. And you're kind of fearful about investing because you don't really know much about it, or you're just unsure. I want to debunk and get rid of that fear and give you some financial education and advice that will help you build assets. So let's talk about inflation. Who is responsible for inflation? The inflation that we currently are suffering from now. Well, inflation is caused and is the responsibility of only one organization. As you know, inflation is at 8.6%. The one organization that is responsible for inflation is the Federal Reserve Bank. That's it. Now, the reason that the Federal Reserve Bank is 100% responsible for inflation is because they are the only organization that can affect the supply of dollars in circulation. Now, as you know, and I told you in previous videos, that inflation is caused by the increase in circulation of the US dollar. And there's only one organization that can affect that. Only one organization that can change the circulation of US dollars, and that's the Federal Reserve Bank. It's not you and I or any other organization. It's not the office of the president or the administration. It's not them. The only organization that can truly affect dollars in circulation is the Federal Reserve Bank. So let's keep that in mind as we go through what we're going to talk about today. So now that you understand who is responsible for inflation and what they did to cause inflation, which is increase dollars in circulation by printing all this money. And by the way, the amount of money that they printed was approximately in the area of $4 trillion. Okay? So now that you understand that, what should you do about it? Okay? Now, what I'm about to tell you is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, so I don't want you to take what I'm saying as financial advice for you to go blindly follow. But what I'm going to try and educate you on is A, things that I do, and B, things that the rich do. Their mindset, okay? So that's what I want to make clear from the very start. Now, number one, here's what you should do in times of inflation. In times of inflation, here's what the rich do. In times of inflation, the rich buy assets. They don't buy things that are considered expenses. Now, I want to go into the difference between an asset and an expense. An asset is something that goes up in value. And during times of inflation, those things that will go up in value are on sale. So as you know, prices right now are going up, okay? So what's going down? The price of assets is going down. Things like stocks are going down, cryptocurrency prices are going down, bond prices are going down. Those kinds of things are going down. And it is at this juncture that it's a good idea that you might want to buy assets because they're on sale. The price is cheap. The price is cheap because we are in a recession, okay? And during a recession, the price of assets has gone down. They're on sale, folks. And it is the perfect time, I think, for me to acquire assets. Now, why do I want to acquire assets? Why do I want to spend my money on assets when we're in the middle of a recession? Most people are having a hard time trying to figure out how they're going to feed themselves and their family, how they're going to keep a roof over their head, how they're going to keep their car running, all those kinds of things. Here's what I want you to do. I just want you to change your thinking for a moment. I want you to change your thinking. And by changing your thinking, I want you to change it so that you don't think about buying designer things. I don't want you to think about buying what you think is an asset, okay? A house is not an asset because a house costs you money. A house or a car or a designer handbag or designer clothing makes you spend money. And those things go down in value. I want you to think about things that you can buy where the value of that item is going to increase, okay? Now, what is on sale right now that will increase in value later on? Is it a house? Is it a pocketbook? Is it a pair of $200 basketball sneakers? Well, a house could go up in value, but it costs you money to own that house. So that's not an asset. Is it a designer pocketbook or a pair of $200 sneakers? No, it is neither of those things. An asset is something that will increase in value as we come out of this recession. That's what an asset is. So, is it a stock? Will a stock increase in value as we come out of this recession? The answer to that question is yes. And here's a list of other things that will increase in value. Real estate will increase in value. Cryptocurrency will increase in value as we come out of this recession. Stocks will increase in value as we come out of this recession. Now, here's something I want you to take to heart. I started by just taking $10. Take 10 freaking dollars and buy an asset, okay? Buy an asset that you think will go up in value. I personally took $10 and I invested it in cryptocurrency. And I just forgot about it. That's all I did. I invested it in that because it has the greatest possibility to increase in value. And I don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything at all. So I want you to just do that. Take 10 freaking dollars. Everybody has $10. Take 10 freaking dollars and buy yourself an asset. I don't really care what you buy. Put it into a real estate fund, put it into a cryptocurrency, put it into a stock fund or buy an individual stock. I don't really care. Just buy an asset. I want you to start thinking like buying an asset, okay? And not liabilities. Now, when you get paid, that's when you should buy the asset, okay? Pay yourself first. Take 10 freaking dollars and put it into an asset, okay? Now, I don't want you to go and buy anything from ads that you see on television, because assets are not going to be advertised on TV, okay? I don't want you to buy, like I said before, $200 basketball sneakers or designer clothing or designer suits or bags or any of that kind of stuff. Because the only thing that you do when you acquire or buy those things, you make the owners of those companies just a little bit richer, because they are depending on you to buy their goods and services to make them rich. And that's not what you want. You don't want to make them rich. You want to make yourself richer. You want to make yourself more financially educated so that you understand and learn how to make yourself a little bit richer today than you were yesterday. So that's number 3. Number 4, please think what you can buy that will do one of 2 things. Either increase in value or pay you a passive income. Though one of those 2 things. Now, while you're thinking about those 2 things, I want you to keep in mind what is going to have the greatest potential to increase in value or the greatest potential to pay you income. Keep those 2 things in mind. But mainly, the message I'm trying to deliver to you today is to change your way of thinking. For too long, the middle class has been screwed over because they don't buy assets. For too long, the poor have been screwed over because they weren't financially educated enough to understand that you should be buying assets, not liabilities, not things that are going to go down in value. You should be buying things that are going to go up in value. And for that, you have to change your way of thinking. You have to think like the rich. You have to think like billionaires and millionaires. You have to think like them. And you have to learn from them. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to go off and try and figure out what's the new thing that I can come up with that nobody else has thought about. You don't have to do that. Just imitate them. That's all. And that's all the message that I want to send to you today. Change your way of thinking. Buy assets for yourself and your family. And once you do that, you're on your way to becoming a richer person today, more richer than you were yesterday. Now, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Smash that notification bell. And I'll see you in the next one.